Smriti or the codes of Manu. So we can say that Manu was the first person on the earth who was so much imbued with great wisdom and was devoted to virtue. So he has divided the society in according to Varnas. Varnas means caste, four castes as stated by the Brahmanas and their sacred texts. So what were the four Chaturvarna, Brahmans, who were the scholars, teachers, and priests, Kshatriyas, kings, warriors, administrators, Vaishyas, the agriculturist and merchant, and the last one is Sudras, service providers and artisans. They were again divided into two groups, Arya, who was the compromising the first three classes, and Sudra, compromising those who were excluded from Vedic rituals. Last one. Separated from and shunned from the society, they were called untouchable, like the Chandal, who have to deal with the disposal of the dead bodies. And this was believed that one's karma in the past resulted in this condition of birth. The Varna system of Hindu society is described in Purans, Smritis, among others. So, Manusmriti is one of the Dharmshastra text. Manusmriti is, of course, written by Manu, and you have to remember this. Dharmshastra text reflecting the laws and society of modern period. Manusmriti is often quoted in reference to Varna system. However, the Hindu writers usually point out that Manusmriti is a later work that does not form a part of Hindu scriptures. The Manusmriti claimed that by time it was written in ancient times, Hindu society included other class untouchable without a position in any of the four varnas and therefore associated with the lowest of the job. The upper classes who were supposed to maintain ritual and corporal purity come to regard them as untouchable. The people of this fifth varna was called Dalit or Harijans, as called by Gandhiji, Harijans. They were formerly known as untouchables. The Manusmriti and Manu Samhita. Of all the Smritis, that is, Manu is admitted the best and authoritative. According to UN Ghosal, Manusmriti occupies an exceptional place in Asian literature and is considered as first rank among all Smritis. Manu's greatness lies in fact that he has embodied the essence of Veda in his treatise. The political idea of Manu are expressed in his work. His importance in Indian political thought lies in fact that he was the one who gave the stamp of sanctity and permanence to the social political institution of land and left to India's world the first code of civil and criminal law. The Manu Samhita is a more than a law book. It is unquestionable rather to be compared with the great poem of Lucretius. Manu Samhita or the Code of Manu contains 12 chapters in which Manu has depicted creation of mankind, religion and polity. So the chapter 1 deals with the origin of world, creation of the soul and four classes of the men. The chapter 2 describes the household life, 8 kind of marriages, conjugal life, role of householder in society, happiness in married life, qualities of teachers and disciples. The chapter 3, it deals with the sources and ground of dharma. Persons for whom dharma holds good and dharmshastra will and intention way attaining moksha, heaven, way of becoming a twice born. If a person is following his dharma, then there is a chances that he will attain moksha, or there can be also chances of he borning again, twice born. Then the chapter 5 deals with depiction of household life relating to dharma, ways of early living, rules of four Vedas and grahast ashram. Grahast ashram, means the marriage life, especially is talked about in here. So, chapter 5, it deals with the duties of the husband and wife, causes of death, prohibition of flesh eating and edibles and non edible foods. Chapter 6 then comes to the Vanasprata. Vanasprata means that you have to separate from any moha maya, separate from the world. And then at last comes the sannyas, when you have to do charity. In chapter 7, it deals with the king, his duties and qualities, procedure of appointment of ministers, payment of taxes, and punishment to corrupt officials. Chapter 8, it deals with the law, its administration, justice, witness, different type of degrees of punishment, loan and interest, trade and business, and duties of the state towards fallen women. Now chapter 9 deals with the women and their dharma. Women के लिए भी अलग एक chapter of their dharma. 6 kind of wives, property, stridhan, and evils of unlawful sex. Chapter 10 then elaborate on relation, rules, and pattern of behavior among varna, importance of brahmans, and difference between the high and low classes. Chapter 11 now deals with the rules of giving alms to student, rules of performing sacrifices, various vices and penitence. The chapter 12 now deals with the two sections. One is dealing with theory of karma, what is the actions what a person should do and its consequences, including rebirth of the soul. The other section of deals with those dharma which helps to seek spiritual perfection through self knowledge, attainment of everlasting good, and 5 elements of human body. Now we come to the status of the woman. Manu views the family as the most significant of all social groups. The family consists of husband, wife, and children. Manu also says about a lot about marriages. Marriage, according to him, is a sacred thing. A man received his wife from God and is linked with her from the past and should protect her. So this is how much importance he has given to women, that woman is a gift from God to the man and they should take care of her. Manu does not allow any kind of divorce or separation. A husband can remarry under some exceptional situations. Manu is against leading an independent and unprotected life by women. According to him, a woman cannot be independent. According to him, very controversial thought process of him, that that woman should be taken care by someone, first by father, then by husband, and then by son in old age. It implies that a woman is not fit for freedom. But elsewhere, Manu has admired women and praised their role in the family or household. He equates the housewife with the goddess of fortune because both bestow illumination. Manu advises that all members in the house should honor women and keep them happy. Where women are respected, there's the God delight. According to Manu, a girl may better remain a spinster than to be given in marriage to a worthless man. In case her father fails to give her in marriage to a suitable man within 3 years of the age of marriage, she herself should choose her husband, which shall not be treated as illegal. Manu was a political philosopher, but even his ideas have been subject to criticism on the following grounds. Manu was a supporter of divinity of king and the superiority of priestly class. It is not consistent with democratic principles. Manu's concept of a kingdom was nothing more than emergence of a tribal organization in some faint beginning of a territorial state. In other words, an imperial power has not yet emerged, and Manu did not think of a well developed and multi purpose political structure of modern time. Another objection were the fold varnas, which may lead to the social complications and conflict. Some of the ideas of Manu, especially his view on authority, administration, local government, are actually one sided. In spite of this criticism, Manu is considered as the father of Indian polity. Manu was a great lawgiver and was also the first great thinker on socio-political ideas. Manu was called the father of Indian polity because of his outstanding contribution. Manu was the author of Manu Smriti, which is admitted as one of the most important and authoritative book consisting the foundation of social order of Vedic time. Then, according to Manu, kinship was divinely created in order to save mankind from anarchy. The king was bound by moral and divine limitation while exercising his supreme authority and was wise, honest, knowledgeful, and dutiful. The king has to take the advice of his assistant also. The theory of Dand is the real driving force in his entire political philosophy. The theory of Dand is deal with within the next unit. Manu's system of law or local government is highly praiseworthy, and his idea of foreign minister or interstate relation is quite pragmatic. Manu can be compared with Hammurabi, the famous lawgiver of Babylonia. Manu represented the height of Indo-Aryan culture and Hammurabi stood for the Babylonian civilization. Yet judicial procedure for Manu has many things in common with Hammurabi. Manusmriti divided all economic transaction in the following categories: bhiksha for professional, barter or monetary business, stealing or ineligible gain. The first and the foremost transaction is bhiksha. In today's parlance, bhiksha is translated as begging, but this is not the meaning in the stated in Manusmriti. It means dakshina, where payment is made for service rendered according to the ability and the wish of the party receiving the service. Thus, the shiksha or student pays Guru Dakshina according to his wish without any demand from the Guru. A sannyasi bhiksha is also a dakshina as he has completely abandoned all his selfish attachment and completely devoted his to upliftment of society. The second transaction is normal business transaction that involves exchange of goods and services. This exchange in modern time takes place using currency. The third and the most inferior transaction is stealing. Stealing does not merely imply lifting of a stranger's possession without permission. It includes all transactions where payment is received without commensurate service being provided. Thus, if a worker in a family or a factory or any workplace receives full wages but has not really worked fully for it, then he will be partially called as a thief. Accumulation of wealth beyond justification is also considered stealing. So, according to Manu, a person should accumulate just enough wealth to fulfill his need. If he accumulates more, he is a thief deserving punishment. Manu is regarded as the father of Indian political thought. He is regarded also as the first lawgiver. The word Manu is derived from the root of mankind. Manu was considered to be the father of human race and the first lawgiver. Manu is said to be not a person at all but a title given to great lawgivers. The actual author or author of Manu Samhita used the word Manu to give authority to his rules. Manu is also regarded as the divine lawgiver. In Rig Veda, he is described as the father of the human race, and in Puranas as the teacher of mankind. To the whole world, the code of Manu or Manu Samhita is best known work of his own kind. The date of Manu is a matter of great controversy. Tradition and belief place the work at the dawn of civilization. On the other hand, some historian has made attempted to ascribe it as a Brahman Pandit in the Shugna dynasty of the 2nd century BC. The estimate of days varies all the way from the 6th century. Social organization or social order. In Manusmriti, there is a reference to social structure. Here Manu stated in the beginning, God fashioned a social structure for the smooth functioning of his creature and created four classes of people: Brahmins from the mouth, Kshatriya from his arms, and Vaishya from his thighs, and Shudras from his foot. Manu calls it Varnashrama Dharma, or laws of different professions. The social structure according to Manu is based on Varnashrama Dharma, or division of society into four varnas with their respected duties for smooth running of the society. The four varnas are these: were created from the Brahma's mouth, arms, thighs, and feet, respectively, representing the dominance of three elements: gunas, sattvas, knowledge, rajas, power and action, and tamas, desire for material pleasure. This can be asked, what are the three elements present in all the people? Gunas, sattvas, rajas, and tamas. The Brahmins representing sattvas are devoted to study and gathering knowledge. The Kshatriyas representing rajas are endowed with the power and the strength and are in charge of defending the king, the state, and the people. According to Manu, there are four ends of life. They are dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. A lifespan of 100 years have been carved out for every individual, which has been divided into again four stages of life. What are the four stages of the life that he has told? Firstly, we have to remember his division, the division which he has made. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. These are the division he has made. Then he has told that all there are qualities that people have, that is sattvas, the knowledge, then rajas, power and action, and tamas, desire for material pleasure. These are very important terms and you have to remember all this. Then again he has told that life has four ends. What are they? Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And after that there are four stages of life. Again he has told, describe what? Four stages of the life: brahmacharya, grahastra, vanasprata, and sannyas. In the first stage of life, this is of course early period of brahmacharya, where his person will complete his education. After brahmacharya, grahasthashram, he has to get married and the marriage life. In vanasprata, he has to give up all worldly life and pleasure, leave home and meditate. And the final stage of life, he has to lead the life of an ascetic, conquering his desire of worldly gains and attaining purity of body and mind. Manu has mentioned about the four ages and their respective characteristics also. That's again four ages: Satya, Trita, Dropa, and Kalyugs, which move in a cylindrical order, cyclical order. Manu forbids the man of low caste from accepting the occupation of a higher one in order to earn his livelihood. According to him, it is better to perform one's duty imperfectly than to try to perform the duty of another. Many not only acknowledge the Vedic doctrine of divine creature, of social class is graded. Manu has given superior status to Brahmins in its society, and the Brahmin is known as Divija, means twice born, or account of a second born. According to Manu, a Brahmin has to play a multi-dimensional role of spiritual guide, teacher, judge, sacrificer, all rolled in one. Contrary to this, Manu gave a very low position to the Sudra. Shudra has no personality and status. He cannot realize the goal of his life and is always swayed by impulse of the moment. Later on, in the 5th century, Plato, the Greek political philosopher, while explaining the nature of justice, has also divided the society into three classes, which you all know: the philosopher king, the army, and the trading class. Divine origin of theory and Raj Dharma. Manu says that God created the institution of kingship. Its creation was necessitated because the people, disappointed by the prevailing disharmony and mutual differences, conflict, and distrust among Lord Brahma, the creator, to help protect them. Brahma thereupon decided to give them a king with the duty to maintain law and punish the law breakers. For when this creature being without a king dispersed in all directions, the Lord created a king for the protection of the world whole, taking eternal particles of Indra, of the wind, of Yama, of sun, of fire, of Varun, of moon, and of Lord of wealth Kuber. So these again from the qualities have taken from all this god for a king. Thus Manu thought that the king was created out of particle of 8 god. Position of king, a logical corollary of divine theory of king, was completed. Subjection, obedience of subject to his authority. Even an infant king must not be despised that he is a mere mortal, for he is a great deity in human form. Manu claimed that people have no right to hate or disobey the authority of the king because the latter acts on the instruction of God. God himself has sent the king for the betterment of the people. It is held by modern writers that Manu put emphasis on the divine qualities of an ideal ruler. Manu's emphasis was more than on the quality of the king than the divinity of the king. If a king is not righteous, learned, and just, if he does not observe the dharma, the king would not be regarded as a divine. On this part, king is also expected to possess certain noble qualities. He should be able to satisfy his people by his action, so that they may feel that they are being ruled with their consent. Manu also emphasized on the importance of training, self-discipline, and self-control of the king, and highlighted their importance of the success to government. Manu said that the king and the royal officers should worship and respect the learned Brahmins, should cultivate modesty, and should conquer the senses. Manu stated that the head of the state, he should be as powerful as electricity, as dear to his people's hearts at their breath. He should enlighten people's mind by the spirit of knowledge, justice, and righteousness. He should be like one who consumes wickedness like fire, keep the wicked and the criminal under control like a jailer, gladdens the heart of the good like the moon, makes the country rich and prosperous, and a treasurer keeps his treasury full. He alone is then fit to be the head of the state, who is like fire, air, the sun, the moon, a judge, a treasurer, a gallower in keeping wicked under control, and like electricity in power. The theory of Dandhaniti, punishment. The theory of Danda or punishment, as propounded by Manu, is a very important idea. Manu's idea of supreme authority of king is justified by the sanction of Danda. Manu justifies his view of Danda with a reference to an old principle of human psychology, that the theory of Danda is only ground for the fulfillment of individual obligation. The king's mode of application of Danda is the key to the will and woe of individual community. Putting emphasis on the coercive power Danda, Manu said that Danda is the king, Danda rules all the people. Danda alone protects them. Danda is awake when others are asleep, and the wise declare Danda to be identical with law, dharma. It is through the fear of Danda that all creatures, movable and immovable, are made conscious. The whole world is kept in order by Danda. The king is just inflictor of Danda, and he act after due consideration, as he is wise and conversant with virtue. Manu does not merely emphasize the duty of the subject towards the king, but also emphasizes on the duty of the king. One of the major duty of the king is to protect the country and his subject. A king who protects his subject receives from each and all praises and the right to collect taxes. A king who does not afford protection will soon sink in hell. Manu insisted that the king should regulate both political and social life of subjects, protect them from all possible aggressions, and keep them fully safe. Maintain law and order in order by keeping the state free from thieves and robbers. Protection of private property, protection of class system. On duties and position of king in Manusmriti, a scholar says that it will be seen that the promotion of public welfare and happiness is possible only when ruler is philosopher consider himself subject to higher law, applies himself diligently to his duties, acknowledges the sovereignty of people, bows to their wishes, and guards the welfare. Manu thus ascribed the king with all high qualities for which king is worshipped as god by people. Then we come to the Saptang theory of Manu. Manu has divided the what we say elements of the state, the ruler, the king, the officials, the capital, the kingdom, the revenue, the standing army, and the ally. Manu discusses the 7 parts of and call them 7 limbs of the state. No particular one can be said to excel the other, since each of them has a particular function to perform. This involves the essential parity of the factor of the state. Manu admits that impossibility of one man's rule in view of the difficulty and complexity of the governmental function. Hence, Manu discusses the qualification of different classes of the king's officials, such as his ministers, other officials, his ambassador, his domestical servants, etc. The minister should come from royal family, and they should be intelligent, loyal, and hardworking. The king should also appoint ambassador and diplomat for conduct of foreign relations. They must be good orators, intelligent, and fearless. The king should even go to the extent of confiscating their property and driving them out of the kingdom if required. Important departments like revenue and army should be kept under control and supervision of the king. Manu has given an elaborate scheme of local government. In his scheme, there is the ultimate unit is village. Every village must have an headman. The local government must be formed by group of 10, 20, 100 and 1000 villages. Every town should have a superintendent of all affairs with an army of spies to help them in exploring the behavior of the people. A company of soldiers should be stationed in the midst of 2, 3, 5 or 100 of villages for the protection of the kingdom. Lastly, we come to the Manu's policy of government, which may be conveniently considered under 2 heads, namely those relating to the public security, 2 matters relating to the foreign policy. With regard to the policy of public security, the king, according to Manu, will detect the help of the spies, 2 classes of thieves who are otherwise called the open thieves and the secret thieves. Manu mentioned punishment for both these classes of culprit. Punishment are prescribed by Manu for various acts of injury to the public, such as breaking down dams, tanks, cutting off water supply, breaking public property, destroying bridges, etc. Punishment is also prescribed for royal officers who remain inactive during attack by robbers and fail to give help according to their capacity. interstate relation or foreign policy. Regarding the policy of interstate relation, Manu suggested the principle of 6 type of foreign policy. First, the king makes peace when he is sure of his own gain and superiority. Firstly, what is the policy? Peace. Second, he should wage war when he thinks that he is strong enough to defeat the enemy. Third, he should march against the enemy when his army is well disposed toward him. Fourth, he should stay neutral if he is weak in troops. Fifth, he should build his forces. If he finds his enemy stronger in every aspect, then he would take refuge with a rich and powerful king. When he is very easily accessible by enemies' forces, the king, while determining his war policy, should consider the future and immediate present as well. Varna Dharma. Again, there are four this classes, and they are divided, and they have their work is also divided. So that's all about Manu. You can go through it. Thank you so much.